We're at Florida Supercon at the Miami Beach Convention Center, and what a fun time with Fantasy Super Cosplay Wrestling. And now one of the veterans of FSCW. Kimberly, tell us about your character for FSCW, who you're portraying now.
Yes, well, originally my character I came in when I first started was Mystique, but now I've had a character change as of this weekend. I am playing Sylvie from the new Loki series, so I'm Lady Loki. It's been super fun. I immediately loved the character when I first watched the series, so getting to portray that has been awesome.
It's so neat about FSCW because it's pro wrestlers in cosplay wrestling.
Yes.
What was your reaction when you first saw it and the crowd reaction for it?
The crowd reaction blew me away just because there's so many people, and they aren't necessarily people who watch wrestling on a regular basis. So they come in with no expectation, and just watching them be blown away and get to see some of their favorite characters in real life. It's just a fun suspension of disbelief that we get to participate in. And I know I actually messaged them and asked if I could work for FSCW because I loved watching it and all the production and the awesome costumes, because FSCW goes all out. We don't hold anything back, and we want you to feel like that actual character is here when you watch us.
It's a who's who of pro wrestling talent.
Yes.
Whether it's Kimberly from Impact Wrestling or anybody from AEW, WWE NXT,
yes.
NWA,
yes.
the Indies, Ring of Honor. You can go down the list. There's so many, and they all seem to be so happy portraying cosplay and doing this. What have you found about that, and what makes it appeal to you to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's something that we don't get to do every day. Most of the time we're trying to be a version of ourselves, and it's fun to kind of be able to step out of the box and be somebody else for a day. And when you work with people who know wrestling a little bit more, you kind of have to work a little bit harder to get them to react. Whereas here, people are so excited just to see anything, and it's just a really fun, positive experience, and kind of a step away from the business aspect of the wrestling for a minute, and we get to just have fun as wrestlers too.
How much study does it go into when you're developing a character and going to portray that character out there? The importance of not so much the wrestling moves, but the importance of portraying the character that the cosplay fans are going to see.
Yeah, I mean, the people like Mike Vendette, they're really good about giving us a heads up and places to look to find more about the character, or they'll tell us more about the character if we ask. I know I personally like to Google and find stuff. I was already watching Loki before I was told about the character switch, and I already liked the character of Sylvie and was excited to get to portray her. And it's something that, you know, some of us are a bit more nerdy than others. I tend to fall on the nerd side, so I already knew a lot about the characters coming in. But some people come in and they don't really know too much about who they're playing, but we all take the time to research and at least know kind of a baseline, and then we kind of put ourselves into it a little bit too.
Because it's so important,
right,
being authentic, especially when all those fans out there, they may not know Kimberly, Impact Wrestling superstar, but they know Mystique, or they know the new character you're portraying. For you, when you were Mystique, what was it like when you first went out there, your first time going out there in front of everybody?
Oh, it was awesome. She's like a kind of a love-hate character. Some people love her, some people hate her. Sometimes she's good, sometimes she's bad, depends on the day. She's more about getting whatever she needs for herself. So it was cool to see the mixed reaction. Get to be kind of that mysterious character, use some of my dance background with the flexibility stuff that Mystique can do. So I thoroughly enjoyed it the first time.
How much of Mystique is Kimberly then?
I would say definitely, probably about 50-50. Yeah, I would say even with Sylvie too, it's 50-50.
You mentioned dance.
Yes.
What is your dance background?
I danced from the time I was 2 years old all through college, and I have a degree in a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Dance Education. So.
How did you get your start in pro wrestling?
When I moved from Seattle to Philadelphia to go to college, I met a lot of people from the city, and one of them took me to a wrestling show. It happened to be an indie show. I think, I don't fully remember what it was, but I think it was Ring of Honor. I could be wrong. But I fell in love with this crazy thing that I didn't even know existed at that point. All I knew about was, at the time, WWF. And so I went to the show. My friend was one of those people that just kind of knows everybody. So I ended up talking to Drew Gulak about potentially training, and I just kind of went headfirst into it. And throughout from my sophomore year of college on, I was doing college and wrestling at the same time.
Was Drew one of the trainers for you?
Drew is my trainer, so yes.
Talk a little about Drew. What an amazing wrestler.
Oh, yeah.
Seen him unbelievable working with WWE, but when he was, I want to say maybe I hope I have it right, the Cruiserweight champion?
Yes,
there was champion, and he had some incredible matches. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. So yeah. What about him as a trainer?
He's tough. I can't say, there were points when I first started that, I resented him a little bit because of how much he put me through. I was the first female he ever trained. I'm really kind of his first student, period, that was ever just his. And not only was the first student, I was also a female, and in wrestling we're kind of the minority, and we have a reputation for not being as good as the boys, and Drew wasn't going to have any of that. I had to do all the same drills. I was the only female in my class. So if we were doing a fireman's carry while running drill, I still had to do it with a guy that was bigger than me. He didn't care. He was super hard on me. He yelled at me. He beat me up, but I wouldn't trade any of it for the world now. It's tough to be a female in this business, so you have to be able to get through the tough part, and you should be kept to the same standard as the males that are here and try to be better than them, and that's always what I've tried to do. Now we've progressed from just student trainer to a relationship to where he's one of my biggest confidants, somebody I can look up to. He's still, even being in WWE, me and you may know Wheeler Yuta is another student of his. And anytime we see each other, we're like, have you talked to Dad recently? So it's become one of my best friends from being this trainer, and he still looks out for me, and if I need advice, he's got it.
Kimber, how interesting, from dance, college educated, pro wrestling, being with all the men. Was there a time, how intimidating, was that intimidating at first, and just how did you barrel through that?
For me, I don't think it ever was. From day one, I said I want to wrestle boys. I don't want to wrestle women, I want to wrestle men. Sure, I want to wrestle anybody, I guess is what I said. I don't want to be pigeonholed into I can only wrestle female opponents. We all know wrestling is a larger-than-life spectacle. I like to say we're stunt athletes. That's my favorite way to describe it, and it is a performance art, just like dance is. And there's no reason why Wonder Woman can't kick the crap out of dudes. Why can't I? It's the same sort of deal. You have to suspend your disbelief for just that moment. We're taking you to a different world. So that's kind of my take on that.
Do you have any favorite FSCW characters?
Oh, I mean, you've got to go with Skeletor. Skeletor's hilarious. I mean, all of them. Myself? No. I'm a big fan of Loki, Skeletor, the new Black Widow character that just debuted, just any of them. Everybody is so unique with the way they portray things, so I kind of like all of them.
You talked about your new character, and I was curious, did you have any ideas of any other characters that you wanted to portray?
I don't know. I know when I was first trying to decide which character I wanted to be, Emma Frost was one that I brought up, so maybe I'll do her someday.
Kimber, I want to talk also about Impact Wrestling.
Okay.
You've been doing some really good work with Impact Wrestling, and you were aligned with the champion, the virtuosa, yes, Deonna Purrazzo. Now things are different. But at that time, yeah, just a little bit. But at that time, what was that like? You both working together, collaborating, and being a great force in Impact Wrestling.
You know, I can't say enough great things about Deanna. She is a fantastic wrestler. She's an amazing, like, she claims the greatest women's technical professional wrestler, and she has every right to say that. She's one of the best. A lot of the times the technical side is stuff that women can struggle with, and she shows that no, you can be just as good. We're not aligned anymore. I have been transported to the undead realm, and I'm kind of possessed by Su Yung now. You gotta watch. Hang on, take care. But
Access TV, Thursday nights.
Thursday nights on Access, 8 p.m. Gotta watch it. See what's going on. But it's somebody who we had been acquaintances on the independent scene. When I was signed with WWE, she wasn't there. We were kind of passing ships in the night there, so we didn't really work together much while she was there because I was gone at that time. But getting to work with her more at Impact really kind of made a friendship that I didn't know was possible, and so she's become somebody like I really trust now too. So it's a cool thing.
Great wrestler she is. Kimberly, you're a great persona on the show, and you mentioned Su Yung.
Yes.
Talk about creative mind, all the different portrayals of Su.
Right.
What is it like so far being able to get in there and work with her?
It's been awesome, and just having Su kind of trust me to take this thing that she's built for the past 7-8 years now and be like, okay, I'm gonna let you do it. And it was also kind of, how can I be like Su but keep little bits of me in there? I still have a tiara, that's very me. And then this crazy laugh that came out of me recently goes back to my working in haunted house days. I've done a lot of creative different things, but so it's just, it's fun. It's something that's totally not me at all. And again, it's fun to be creative and be somebody else for 15-20 minutes.
You know what I like about you, Kimber? There's so many things to find out about you that I have my questions, but then there's also like, let's deviate down this path. And I do want to deviate to this one really quick, the haunted houses.
Yes.
Are you a big fan of haunted houses, first of all?
Big fan.
And like, do you go to big events, Universal Studios or wherever, and events?
I haven't been to Horror Nights yet, but I'm going this year. But big fan of haunted houses. Because I worked in one for 2 years, you've got to be pretty good to scare me. I see them coming.
What did you do?
I was a scare actor. I worked for Fright Factory in Philadelphia, which happened to be behind the ECW arena. It's how I met my friends. So it's all kind of interconnected.
It's tied together.
But 1 year they did like a haunted high school, and I was a dead school teacher. And then the year after that, there was a vampire haunt, and I was one of the vampires in there. So.
Now with Impact Wrestling, I believe Savannah Evans is a new addition to the roster there, and you're working with her in FSCW right here, Fantasy Super Cosplay Wrestling. What is it like having Savannah now part of this women's roster at Impact Wrestling? I
was so excited to see her there. A lot of the times I don't necessarily know what new people are going to be there before I get there. So seeing her, just because I know how hard she works, I know how good of a wrestler she is. So it was just awesome to see her finally get that opportunity. And then they gave her the ball, and now she gets to run with it. And I hope Savannah goes straight to the top and sticks around for a while. And
Kimber, with Impact Wrestling, the Knockouts division has been one of the original divisions to really promote women's wrestling as wrestlers. I wonder what your thoughts are of the talent that's there today, today's version. There is a lot of good talent there, and if you could tell us some of the names that are there with you, Deanna, Su.
I will hands down, and this isn't even a biased opinion, this was before I even got there, I will say Impact has the best women's division out of any of them, period. That's just my opinion. We've got Su Yung, we've got Jessica Havoc, we've got Deanna Purrazzo, Chelsea Green, recently Melina showed up, Mickey James is back, like it's, Taylor Wilde just came back, you know, it's just, And everybody is so different. Everybody is so unique. We don't fit into a cookie cutter mold at all, and all of us can get in the ring and go. And I can't think of another company where you can say that every single woman there is on the same level.
Star-Lord here at FSCW.
Yes.
We also know him as Caleb with a K.
Yes, that guy. No, just
Who's he with? What is Caleb doing in Impact Wrestling? Who is this lady that he's with? And have you crossed paths with her yet?
Yes, that's another fantastic talent we have, Neil Dashwood, that Caleb with a K has been working with. And Caleb with a K has kind of been in the women's division a little bit lately. But it's another like testament to just how Impact is so creative. Like anybody can be anywhere. There's been women going up against the men there too, which I stand for and love. You know, it's awesome to see somebody, a male in fact, that doesn't, because sometimes dudes will kind of be like, nah, I don't want to work with the girls. Like they're just a girl. Caleb has never been like that at all. He even when he does Star-Lord here, he's open to anything that you want to do. He's open to working with us, making us look good, and he's also, I have to say nice things about him, he's also a pretty cool dude. So. We make fun of each other a lot, so.
And well, lastly, we'll get to your social media, but lastly then, is there anyone in particular or a few that you'd like to work with? You've worked with a few already.
Correct. Tennille and I have had tag matches, so it'd be fun to be in a singles match with her. I would love to get to work with Alina if they kept her around. There's really, I just can't, the number one that I would say though that I have never wrestled is Chelsea Green, and I would love to get a one-on-one match with her. We have never done anything in the ring together, so.
Another FSCW alum, Catwoman, Chelsea Green. Thank you, Kimberly, for that. And I'd be remiss if I didn't ask this. If you were experiencing any shoulder pain, do you feel confident Dr. Ross could help you with that?
Yes, I love Dr. Ross. He would help. He would definitely help.
Kimberly, thank you so much for your time. And do you have social media for fans?
Yes, I do. So if you want to follow me, I have Twitter and Instagram, both the same handle, at Kimber_Lee90. And I've got a blue check mark, so I'm easy to find.